It's going to be beautiful.
Yeah,
Good.
I think so.
Wow.
We need light.
Action.
Action. What was the motivation behind this? So what was the idea to come up with this foundation?
The idea actually, my father was a UNICEF ambassador for about 34 years. He was, I think, the second UNICEF ambassador after Danny Kaye. So he was the oldest UNICEF ambassador. So in our culture since 1967, where he started, I mean, I was raised with the idea also of what he was doing for UNICEF.
Okay.
And so in a way today, the foundation for me is a bit like my father's body that he doesn't have anymore. I'm trying to continue his soul, his ambition, his visions of life through this foundation.
So why do you think is creativity so important for the development of a child? Because when you look at, let's say, the normal school system in Germany, for example, you get the impression that creativity is not very important at all, because when I look at my children, who are now 20 and 21, they didn't have a lot of creative education in all the years they were studying.
Well, I don't want to seem like an expert in things, but my feeling is that education in general is to manage children like groups. And we see with our prejudice science that groups develop prejudice against other groups. And this is the way the groups have identity. Of course, in this process, some children get lost, lose their personality or don't discover it, and their personality only exists because they're a group. So creative education is part of what we're trying to do, is to empower the child to discover their potential and their inner possibilities and personality.
Looking at what is happening at the moment, so there are a lot of conflicts in the world. We have the Ukraine kind of thing going on.
Yes.
And all these conflicts are very often based on prejudices from one people to the other. And I would like to ask, so do you think that creative people maybe in the end are more tolerant or more open to people, and that this could help to build a society that maybe has less conflicts? Or is it just a two-sided thing? So you have the positive side with the creativity?
No, but I mean, you were speaking about the Ukraine crisis. What's interesting today also is globalization. You realize that people have very quick opinions without knowing about the subject.
Right.
And this is happening everywhere, all over the place. And this is also prejudice awareness, is to say you should first look into the problem in detail to know who are the populations, what language do they speak, what is the real situation, what is the financial dependency in between Russia and Ukraine. This whole situation has to be looked into detail. You can't just say this is a bad guy and this one is a good guy. Because then you're functioning in a typical prejudice situation. You're not thinking, you're not feeling, you're just reacting. I think that one has to choose your culture today. You can be German and like Buddhism and be a vegetarian. We can all choose our culture. So we should be very mild about it and very interested to discover what culture is yours. I went to see a play in Paris about Einstein, and he said it's easier to fragment an atom than to change a prejudice. And if that's true, that means it will be easier for humanity to blow ourselves
away,
to pieces than try and discover what the other one thinks.
Let's change the topic and talk a little bit about you. Among many other things, you are a sculptor, for example. So where do you get your inspiration from? What do you do to get ideas and new kind of...
Well, they come. I always saw sculpture, if you're a sculptor or a painter, it's part of your nature. You know this story of the child who was in the forest and he's dropping little pieces of bread because he wants to find his way back.
Right.
I think an artist or a sculptor is a bit like that. You, instead of dropping bread that disappears because it's eaten by the animals, I drop sculptures behind myself. And this is my way to know where I went.
Okay.
And maybe it helps me to do
That's a nice picture.
to understand where I'm going.
Yeah.
So my sculptures are part of my own evolution.
Very interesting to talk to you, and I think we could go on and on. Maybe we carry on a little bit this evening with a glass of wine.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
Yes, with a glass of wine.
I thought you make him sing now.
No. I run the risk of having to join him, you know. And this would bring me in this situation because I'm a shy guy, so you know.
Oh Lord, come down here to the museum.
Yeah. Great, thank you.